Hello everybody, welcome to Telli Talks, where we talk about life, growth, relationships, and all things in between. This episode is sponsored by Classic Cat and 8 Lab. I have a very special guest with me today. She is a business and life coach, Carli Jay.
Hey, thank you.
AKA Miss Carli Jay.
Gotta put it in. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. And cheers.
Cheers,
to...
girl.
I'm gonna let you do the cheers.
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 To us.
To us. Love it. So for the people that don't know your journey, can you tell us about where you started and how you got to where you are today?
Okay, I'm going to give you a small snapshot, so I'm not here forever. I'm originally from Australia, so I grew up there. When I was 24, I decided to pack my life into one bag of clothes, and I went backpacking the world. It's a very, very Australian thing that we just get up and go. And I traveled 25 countries in 6 months, trying not to fly. So it was like country to country.
Countries, not cities.
Countries. So 25 countries, probably about 75 cities.
Wow.
Literally from Australia all the way to London. I did a few flights, but the whole point was to try and do trains, overnight buses, ferries, renting cars.
Wow.
Literally, I traveled across the world. Ended up in London, and I was only meant to be there for 12 months. Like, just work, get as much money as possible, and then I was going to backpack another way home. But I ended up, instead of staying for 12 months, I stayed for 12 years.
Oh, wow.
And it was, I feel like for me, that was the catalyst in my life of where I found myself. And I always say to people, if you've never left your hometown, get out. Because it's where you will discover more about yourself. It's not where it's forced, what your parents have taught you, the schools you went to, the friends you grew up around, the religion. It's a chance for you to explore the world.
And experience culture.
And that's what I always say. Like, I love culture, I love knowledge, I love power. And I always say, travel's the one thing you'll spend money on, but it makes you richer.
Absolutely.
So for me, that journey was just incredible. And getting to London, then that's where I sort of developed as a person in my 20s, found out who I wanted to be. And at that point in my life, I had always been morbidly obese. I have no problem with the word fat. I have no problem with my size or anything like that. But I was 280 pounds, so 20 stone. And I loved life. I was always, at parties. I always had a boyfriend. Like, my life wasn't different. And I think a lot of people get very confused when they see happy pictures. They're like, oh, you were so happy when you were big. And I was like, a fat girl's meant to be sad. Right.
It's all about mindset. I feel like it starts within yourself.
And I carried it well. And when I was growing up, my mum always said to me, big is beautiful. This is how you are. So I was like, cool, I'm going to go about life.
Right.
and that's exactly what I did. But there was a point when I was living in London. It was 2014, and I was about 28 at the time. And I woke up one morning and I felt paralyzed. And I literally could not move the side of my body. Like, when you get a dead arm at night and pins and needles? I literally had that running down the side of my body.
Oh, wow.
And it was a trapped nerve. And I literally said to myself, I'm like, Carli, get the F up out of bed and move. And that was my thing. It was just move your body. Right. It wasn't about anything else. I was like, you just need to move. You need to get your circulation going. You're young. You're full of life. I don't want to get to 35 and, be buying 2 plane seats on an aeroplane or not being able to do stuff because of who I was.
Right.
And because of my size, not because of who I was. But so it was that day that sort of changed my life, that I ended up trying to get healthy, trying to move my body, eat better, take better care of myself.
Absolutely.
And I ended up in a few months seeing weight come off. And I was like, Mum, I'm not big boned. It's not hereditary. I can lose weight.
Absolutely.
And I ended up vowing to myself I wanted to lose half my body weight in 2 years. And I went on to do that. So I lost 140 pounds, so 10 stone in 2 years, no personal trainer, no family, no boyfriend, working a 50-hour-a-week office job. And I wanted to prove that to anyone that wanted to lose 5 pounds, 50 pounds, 150. It is all in your mindset.
Absolutely.
And it's about wanting it for yourself, not doing it for your kids, not doing it for a wedding, not doing it for a beach body, all these media bandwagons, things people want you to jump on. I just wanted to focus on myself and be good, be healthy, be able to say, yeah, I can, when I'm 80 years old, I can look back and go, yeah, I lived a bloody amazing life because I took care of myself. And that for me was like the massive change in my life. I went from working in an office job to literally writing a whole book about my story, which I have a copy for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
So this is my journey, and that's for you.
Thank you. Half the size, but twice the life.
Yeah.
First of all, I love the title.
Thank you.
That is amazing.
And that's why I chose that title, because I wanted to show it wasn't just about me, my size, my body. It was about changing my whole life. And from losing half my weight, I ended up gaining so much more. So I restudied nutrition and life coaching. I ended up going to help lots of people. My social media grew from this. And from that, lots of people started reaching out to me, like even a lot of soccer stars and boxers in the UK I started working with, people were like, hey, we want your help. You know, we've seen you do it. This is like a regular woman just doing her thing.
Absolutely.
And I think it gave a little bit of hope to everyone. Like when I first started my Instagram, I didn't expect the response I got. I was like, I'm just some fat woman losing weight. Like, what's the big deal? But my story grew. I had a lot of press go out about it. Like people were sort of inspired. And that's when I sort of took it seriously that I could then help other people. Like to me, what was just something personal of just getting healthy and wanting to be better in life, I then ended up wanting to help a lot of other women and men. And it grew so much that I ended up starting to help people with their lives, with their business.
Personal.
Yeah, because I think in a way, when people, if they read this book, understand it's actually not about weight. I know the cover shows my transformation, but for me, it was about showing people your mindset is everything. Whatever you want in life, you can have. Like when there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely.
So if you want something, whether it be travel the world, whether it be start a new job, whether it be save for your dream car, whether it be lose some weight, everything is up to you. Like all you need in life is you. And when you totally treat yourself like your best friend, like a lover, like your number one person, and you start to actually work with yourself, not relying on other people, I can wholeheartedly say I did this entire journey myself. And for me, I felt like it was actually just the beginning. Like from that, it changed my life to wanting more, starting a business, ended up applying for a visa to move to the US. Like my whole life changed because of this story. And I feel like now this was just a stepping stone. It's changing even more now that I'm here in LA. Like
Absolutely.
People are coming to me for all aspects of change. And that's why I always say, like, I'm a bridge between where you are now in life and where you want to be. I want to help you get there.
I love that.
Thank you.
First of all, congratulations on your journey.
Appreciate it.
It's a beautiful journey, and you're such a positive light of energy. And I love this for you, and I love all the things that you're doing from this as a stepping stone in your journey. But I'm going to take it all the way back to your backpacking days.
Yes, go on.
So backpacking 6 months, 25 different countries. Where did you start? I know you started in Australia, but like, where did you have a certain amount of countries that you wanted to hit?
So I did
places, all that stuff.
There was a lot, and I actually did do it with an ex-boyfriend at the time, so I don't want people to think I was that courageous and went on my own. But I have traveled on my own since. It came from in Australia. We were living in a house at the time, and the landlord wanted to sell it. My ex-boyfriend wanted to go do a season at the snow, like snowboarding. And I was like, no offense, mate, but can we do something more exciting? I was like, if we're going to give up our house, put everything in storage, I'm not going to the snow for 4 months.
So you guys gave up your house to backpack?
Yes, like literally. In Australia, it is very common to have multiple cars or automobiles, boats, jet skis, things it's a very like outdoor culture, car culture. So I actually had 2 cars, and my ex-boyfriend had a car and a boat. We sold everything. We moved out of the house. We put everything in storage, and we both packed up one big bag of clothes.
Oh my goodness.
Don't get me wrong. I love luxury. I love nice things in life, but I don't need them. And that's the difference. I can survive on nothing. I did not care about getting my nails done. I did not care about getting my hair done. I did not care about anything. It was the most liberating feeling in the world. And I would advise anyone who is wanting to travel, go. Like, it's the best thing. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Like, I would love to go around South America. But that particular trip, so we started, it was April 25th, so it was just 13 years ago. April 25th, 2010, literally set off. And we left and we went first to Thailand. So we flew to Thailand.
How long was that flight from Australia to
God.
Thailand?
I think it's about 10 hours. I think it's about 10 hours. And we decided to have like a nice trip in Thailand, like a good 3 weeks traveling around Thailand. From there, we did a lot of Asia, like Vietnam, Hong Kong, China, Mongolia.
Wow.
Did a train 5 days across Russia. So literally we were on a train for 5 days because of how big Russia is to get from one side of Russia to the other. And the whole train runs on Moscow time. So it would be like midnight to us, but it was daylight because that's what it was in Moscow or something.
Oh, wow.
So literally 5 days on a train was the most craziest experience of my life. Got there, we did a bit in Russia, went to Estonia, went to Finland, went to Turkey.
How do you remember all these places? Like 25 countries?
I feel like it's just like in my brain now. And people have asked me this, so I feel like I can just sort of look at it on a map and envision where I went. Did the whole like European summer, did like Oktoberfest in Germany, running with the bulls, like all this stuff in Spain, La Tomatina Festival.
Did you ever get tired of traveling in general, like the time? Because I know one thing I love going to places, but the travel is what bothers me. Like
I like coming home. Like I like routine. I think because I was prepared mentally. Like it's not like going on a vacation and you come home and you're happy to get back to your bed and that. I think I knew I was embarking and leaving, and we were staying in hostels, like not always hotels either, like not fancy places or anything. Like it was roughing it in those kind of aspects of backpacking.
Right.
It was just the most coolest experience in terms of meeting people. Like you said, culture, food, language barriers, understanding other people, embracing what country you're in. Like Turkey's one of my favorite places on earth. I've actually been there twice now, but it's embracing their cultures, their religion when you're there. Like, and I think for me, that's a very nice thing to do, is to go and embrace other things and learn. And to me, it's still, I wish then Instagram had only just started. I would be the biggest travel blogger today if I hadn't used
it. Absolutely.
I'm like, damn, why wasn't it
And
then?
there's so many different cultures all around the world that do so many different things, practice so many different religions. You know, we just came from Saudi Arabia, and their culture is very different than our culture, just, you know, off of their religion, what they wear, what they do as far as like, you know, the men and the women, and it's just very different.
It's the same. Like I've been to Dubai, and it's a bit, like maybe not as much as now, but back 10, 12 years ago, Dubai was quite strict as well with things like that.
Absolutely.
So it's learning, and it's not being insensitive to cultures. So I think for me, it helped me grow. Like I was 24. So for me, you know, a lot of my friends were settling down and having babies, and I'm like, whoa, where to next?
Right. Which is so amazing. Like to travel, I love traveling, and it's just, you know, to experience different places and cultures and just see how they live life. You know, not just go there to vacation, but seeing the culture.
I wanted to go off the beaten track a bit. Like I went to like Montenegro, to Albania. Like I said, Mongolia is probably one of the coolest out there places I've been. Liechtenstein, like just I tried to go to countries that weren't your normal popular destinations.
Yes, touristy.
And even since that whole trip across the world, I've now done 47 countries. And a lot of them I did I went to Egypt by myself. Like I like to push myself out there to go and explore, and not just be like, hey, I'm going to go to this country and sit in a resort, you know, for 5 days. I want to actually go and experience the world.
Absolutely.
My goal was to have got to 50 countries by my 35th birthday, but COVID messed that up. But we will still get there.
And where are you at now? 37?
I'm at 47.
47. Oh, you're close.
Yeah.
So you'll probably do it by the end of this year.
I would have done it in 2020 for my 35th. I wanted to go to Hungary, Iceland, and St. Lucia. So they were my next three, but yeah, COVID messed that up, and then I came to the big realization of moving to America, so that took my priority. So traveling has taken a little bit of a back seat, but I don't mind, because I'm fortunate enough to say I've done a lot. So then I put that on the back burner and said, now there's something else for me. And that was to move to America. So
you moved to America, and before you moved, you were already starting your weight loss journey.
Yeah, so I'd started that in 2014. So, and I wrote the book that came out.
This is after the backpacking.
Yeah, after the backpacking, I got to London. I put on a lot more weight in London, just because the change of lifestyle, the change of food, the weather, I wasn't being as active as much. I was in a day job, 50 hours a week. You know, I was working in the corporate world in recruitment and HR. And doing that, my whole life changed, where I put on I was always big growing up in Australia, but I put on a significant more amount of weight in the UK. And it was 2014 when I had the big realization, I need to lose some weight, I need to do something, I need to improve my health. And then from the back of that was the whole change in career, retraining in nutrition, helping people, life coaching, business coaching, just showing people that you can change your life. So what for me is very easy to motivate myself, and to I have a friend that says if going after a goal was a person, it would be me. And I'm flattered by that.
That's a great compliment to get. Yeah, absolutely.
And I am really flattered, because for me, it just comes naturally. And I'm fortunate enough to say that, because some people don't have that self-motivation or willpower that I want to then help those people, because I'm like, you can do it, and it is so about believing in yourself.
And some people need to just hear that they can, or hear it from a different perspective other than themselves, because they don't have it within themselves to think that they can or know that they can.
And that's it. And I feel like in today's society, media, or sort of myths and things like that, people want you to feel dumbed down, or that society, it's almost like the world wants us to feel like we need things. You need to pay for this. You need to pay for a personal trainer. You need to have this. You need to have a yoga coach. I'm like, you can minimize what you need to spend money on to still get where you want to be.
Absolutely.
And I always used to say, like, my Instagram is like free advice. My book is, $10 of advice. And if they want more, then I do coaching, because I want to be able to help people that maybe can't pay for stuff. But like I said, I did my whole weight loss journey on not spending a dime on anything apart from stuff like workout clothes.
As far as like the weight loss journey, where did you find that you started? Did you start off with changing your eating habits? Did you start off with working out? Where was your start?
It was mainly the food, because I thought I actually genuinely love healthy food. Mm-hmm. But if you give me a bag of nuts or something, I want the whole thing. Or if there's guacamole and chips, I want the whole thing as well. It's not like, so I was like, portions are really critical for me, and still are to this day. That I had to look at my food and go, oh my God, I'm almost eating 4,000 calories a day. Like, which is double what they recommend for a woman. And I was shocked. And a lot of it was coming from like alcoholic beverages, frappuccinos, coffees, orange juice. I was like, I'm taking my daily calorie allowance in beverages. So I sort of wrote down everything. I was like, what am I eating? What am I drinking? What can I swap out? And actually in the back of my book, I've got a whole swap list of like,
oh, wow.
If you're having a whole pizza, have half and some salad. Like, I'm not telling you, I did not starve myself. I did not cut out.
You're eating the same food.
Yeah.
It was just portion control.
It was portion control. It was swapping out items. Like, I hate when people are like, oh, did you eat fruit? I'm like, I've ate fruit every day of my life. There is nothing wrong with fruit. Yes, it's got has high sugar content. But you say the same to your friend eating a Mars bar or some biscuits. Like, it's always like we tend to criticize healthy things, like peer pressure. Right. You'll peer pressure your friend to go out for a drink, but does your friend peer pressure you to go to the gym in the morning? Right. So I was like looking at society and what we eat and what we're taught, and I was just going, what can I personally change and what can I control? So I was looking at every bit of food that I was eating, and if I was having, a muffin or something that was not good, could I make a better alternative for myself at home? I guarantee if you bake a cake at home, it's half the calories, half the sugar than a store-bought. Because a lot of store-bought food, especially in America, has so much preservatives, sugar, and salt to make it last longer. Absolutely. They don't care about your health. They want it to be on the shelf longer and last in your fridge. It doesn't go moldy. That's half the reason salt and sugar is in food.
And even in drinks, too.
There's
There's so many preservatives for shelf life and solely for that purpose.
To make food, like if your food's being produced over on the East Coast and they need to get it to a supermarket on the West Coast, they need to make sure that it's going to last in a truck.
Absolutely.
So it's like, I'm like, they do not care about you. They do not care about your health, your food. Like, even I did do plant-based for almost a year. Like, vegan food in London is very, very good. But I came here and I was like, even plant-based food has got so much crap in it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, America does not care about your health. Like, that is a given. Like, I would love to help food companies. Like, I brought some children's, like, fruit bars here. 34% added sugar. I'm like, I actually wrote to them. I know the CEO read my email. I don't think he cares. He's like, well, it's making me money. Like, right. So this is what I mean. Like,
issue.
You need to look at...
It's more so like a money grab as opposed to a health grab, because they want to make money and they want people to go see the doctors and they want people to not,
and then health insurance in this country, it costs everything.
Everything costs, and it's not like where it's like London where they have free medical
health.
And you don't.
It was a blessing.
It's almost like you don't want in London, I feel like, or even other countries, outside of America, and I love America. I love where I live. But at the same time, it's almost like they care more so for their people's well-being in a health standpoint outside of America. Because here we have, we suffer from obesity. We like majority of our foods is cooked in grease, and it's cooked in lard. It's cooked in, all these fatty things that make us gain weight. And that's just cooking. Even if it's healthy. Even if it's healthy.
That's what I mean. Like, even healthy food, I'm like, you can still eat what you want. You can still have some cake, or you can still have a burger, or you can still have a pizza. I'm like, make it yourself, or try and look for better ingredients. Like, absolutely. There is small key wins. Like, I'm not saying to people, cut out everything, go to the gym, run a marathon. That's not me.
It's more so what works for you, and because I feel like too, weight loss and like a journey of being healthy in general is a lifestyle change. Like, you have to change your lifestyle.
And that's what it was for me. I had to literally change my life. Like, I used to smoke a lot, drink, and I changed all that. It wasn't about going out anymore on a Saturday night. It was about going to bed early so I could wake up the next day early to go to the gym. Right. Like, and I did lose a lot of friends in that process because I was no longer that convenient going out friend. I didn't suit their lifestyle. Right. And I was okay with that. And I always say, as you level up in life, people are not going to come up levels with you. Like, people are getting off the elevator.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to be prepared for that, and you have to accept it. And that's okay. Like, not everyone is for you for your entire life.
Agreed.
Friends are for certain aspects, and it's great.
Or acquaintances. They don't even have to be friends.
They don't have to be friends. But that's what I mean. I've got amazing memories with amazing different groups of friends from stages of my life, and I love all of that.
Absolutely.
But you have to sometimes want better for yourself, and if that means leaving some people behind, you have to accept that. And that can even be family.
Oh, agreed.
Sometimes people don't want the best for you, or they see you changing and getting better and know they can't. They'd rather keep you with them.
Absolutely. And also I feel like too, with family, sometimes it feels like it's more of an obligation because that's your family, because they're related to you. So it's like there's an expectancy there for you from them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what, also...
And habit as well with family, like habits of, like say you have a family meal or something you've always done and your family's like, no, try some, have this. It's okay to say, no, I need your support. I don't want this.
Absolutely.
And I know it can be very hard. Family can be very like pushy. Oh, well, I'll just have some. What are you worried about? Blah, blah, blah. There's so much nagging sometimes.
The peer pressure.
Yeah. And you have to be strong. You have to remember what matters to you.
Yeah.
Like when you're 50, if your health's deteriorated, like make time for your health now so you're not making time for it later.
Yeah. And, or playing catch up with it as well too, where it's like if you're 2 steps ahead, then you don't have to worry about trying to catch up.
And I think we take our health for granted. And don't get me wrong, I've done it as well. I'm not saying I'm perfect or the most healthiest person on the planet, but I'm saying I try to do whatever I can as possible to make sure I'm living a healthy life. My wellness, my mental space, my body, I feel good, that I'm, not getting sick or ill all the time, or, my hair, my skin. Like I try to do anything I possibly can within reason, that I'm taking the best care of myself.
Yeah, and you're living with that. Like you're living with the fact that you're okay with, hey, not taking a drink here, or maybe, cutting down on this.
Yeah.
And you could sleep better at night knowing that you're doing the best that you could possibly do.
And that's it. Yeah, especially like even like last night, I have some friends here from London. They're like, stay out, have a drink. I'm like, no, I'm cool. Like I'm here with you guys. I'm not here for the out. Like I had a couple of drinks with them, but there's a point now I can be like, I'm cool.
You know your limit, right?
And sometimes you have to say it with some quite force, because when your friends are drunk, they're like, have a shot. I'm like, I don't want a shot.
No, absolutely.
And don't get me wrong, there's some nights I will, but there's also like, I'm like, no, I know I want to go home because I want to get up and go to the gym tomorrow. And I've come from this place where I'm like, I don't want to go back. And even like the last year of being in America, I have put on a little bit of weight, but I'm okay with that, because I'm like, there will be changes in your life, stresses, things that happen, that it's okay to fluctuate. And I think there's a big stigma as well in society of going up and down in weight. And I'm like, our bodies change, our age changes, our hormones,
metabolism change. I have that same issue. Like I have this really weird rule that like if I look down and I can't see my private part, my feet, I am to the gym that day.
That's it. You can't see your toes.
Yeah, like if I can't see my private part or my feet, I gotta go to the gym.
And
that's not like a look down and look over. It's just a straight like.
But everyone has their own, like, I think we have this thing, we all have, like, our own limit. If, like, you can let yourself fluctuate a little bit, and you get to a point, you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, right? No, if I know my thighs start rubbing, and I can't, there's certain things that I know, like, your body, and you know yourself, where you're like, all right, I'm gaining weight. Is there ever for you, because, like, I know for me, if I get, like, I'm usually 145, 150. If I get, like, 155, I'm like, okay, now it's time to go to the gym, or there's indications in my body where I know my thighs are getting bigger, my back starts getting
like
wider.
Your jeans feel a bit
tighter. My jeans feel a little bit tighter. I know then I'm like, all right, I've been slacking, I need to go to the gym.
Because you don't always see it in yourself. And I think even if you have mirrors in your house, you're taking photos, sometimes you don't, like 10 pounds or 20 pounds, you may not notice it directly on someone. And especially when we're seeing each other every day on social media, you sometimes don't notice your change or friends' changes or things like that. But when you actually go, oh shit, like I have put on a lot, or you look at a time lapse of like a photo from 6 months ago to now, like I can look in the mirror and think I look the same physically, but I'm like, oh, sometimes I don't feel the same.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a really big, important thing as well. Like I'm not saying one particular size is healthy or matters. I'm saying it's about how you feel.
Oh, 110%.
And I could be 140, I could be 180 and feel great at both. I could feel not great at both as well. So it's like, you need to know what your feeling is. And
Absolutely.
it's like feeling sexy in your own skin, feeling healthy in your own skin, feeling good to yourself. Like we have those days, we know we get up, we can put a dress on and we feel so fine. And there's other days we can put the dress on and we're like, I feel bloated, I feel yuck.
Oh no, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I'm the same, especially like let it be showing stomach. If those abs aren't popping, you cannot wear that today.
So I'm
put on
so
something
thankful
else.
for shapewear.
Yeah,
Thank you,
no.
Kim.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely. Like, and there's times I even sleep. I know they say don't sleep in your shapewear, but sometimes I do. Like, there's sometimes, there's the next day if I know I have to put on something that is form fitting and I want to look like I am informed, then I'm going to wear my shapewear all night. And it, like.
And if that's something for you, though, that makes you even
Yes.
feel good, whether it be mentally or physically, like that may be your thing, that
Absolutely.
you feel like it's done something as well for you. And there
Yes.
might be other people that do something else for themselves. But that's why I feel like if you find something that makes you feel good in terms of your body or your lifestyle. And I always say, like, take care of yourself like you would a lover or a friend or a best or a child or whatever it might be.
And it starts from within.
Yeah.
110%. Anything that you do in life starts from within. It doesn't just start like, okay, for example, like me, I'm guilty of it myself, where I'm like, hey, it's the top of the year, I need to lose 10 pounds, or hey, my birthday's coming up, I need to fast, or I need to do intermittent fasting, or I need to drink my gallon of water today. Like, and I go in spurts of, fitness journeys of like when I hit my target, I'm like, oh, okay, now I could have a drink. Now I could have a dessert. Now I could, my consistency isn't where I feel it needs to
and
be.
I feel like for me consistency can go up and down as well. I'm generally very good. The last year I'm moving a whole country by myself. I have slacked a bit, but I'm okay with that.
Right.
Because I'm like, there was something else very important that I'm not gonna reprimand myself because I'm not eating this or I'm not doing this. I'm like, just do what you can. But it's funny what you said about the rewarding yourself. Like I always say, we're not puppies, don't reward ourselves with food.
Right.
Because that's a very common thing. You lose weight, everyone's like, let's go out for a meal. I'm like, well, that's a big contradiction, isn't it? Although let's go have a piece of cake.
Right.
So when I say 50 kilos, which is probably about 100 and something pounds, I got to that marker and I was like, I want to reward myself. Everyone's like, let's go out for a night. I'm like, no. I was like, that's just defeats the purpose. So I was
Right.
like, I want to do something really worthwhile. So I was like, I want to go skydive.
Oh,
Because
nice.
when I was 28, I went to Dubai.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, yep, my 28th birthday, I'm going to go jump out of a plane because that's what I'm about. And I got there and there's like, you can't jump. I was like, what? I was like, no one tells me no. I do everything I want.
Right.
She's like, you can't jump. You're too big. And I was like, what? I was like, are you kidding? Like, I was so infuriated because my weights never stopped me in life, but it did.
Right.
I was so annoyed. My 28th birthday, I'd gone all the way to Dubai to skydive and I quit it.
And that was your purpose of why you wanted to go
Yeah,
there.
I was so annoyed. Like, at myself, at them, I was just like infuriated.
And at that time, how much did you weigh then?
So that was before I ever started the journey.
Okay.
I hadn't
Oh,
started
that was still
yet. It was like,
backpacking.
no, it was before. I'd got to the UK, but I'd gone on holiday to Dubai. So it was just before, it was my 28th birthday.
Got it.
November of 2009. And I was so annoyed. So I started the weight loss journey the next year. And it was the 50 kilo mark, so about 100 pounds, I think that is, or something, 110. I went back to Dubai. And I got there and I was so nervous that they were going to because of my height, they do a BMI limit. It's the only skydiving place in the world that has a BMI limit.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm so short, my BMI is not very accurate, but I don't think the whole BMI is accurate anyway these days. I think it's too old and outdated. But I was so worried that my BMI still wasn't going to let me skydive. So I wore my Nike high top, so it's a little bit taller. And they checked me in. She's like, yep, you're good to go. And I remember just falling to the ground. Like, not falling, but like sort of crouched down. I was like, oh my God. Because like I still get chills now because that was my thing. I was so annoyed I couldn't do it. But I had to go back to prove I could.
But that was like motivation for you
Yeah.
to lose the weight and then come back and be able to do it.
Exactly. So I went back to Dubai. I did the skydive. The video's on my YouTube if you want to watch it. And the guy said to me, I've never seen someone smile the whole way up in a plane with no door and smile the whole way down. He's like, I've never
love
seen
that.
someone giggle so much. And I giggle at the best of times, but jumping out of a plane, I can still see the photo. I'm just like,
Yeah, that's literally on my bucket list to jump off
do
of
it in
a
Dubai.
plane.
It's the best place in the world to skydive.
I went to Dubai with a group of my friends and we would try to skydive, but back then the skydiving was so booked. And
Yeah,
it was
it's
like
it's
booked
crazy.
in like a year in advance. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to wait for a year to stay here for a year and do it, because I like
Yeah.
when I do stuff, I want to do it
Spontaneous,
spontaneously.
yeah.
And I feel like we've done that like with scuba diving. And just spontaneous stuff. Like we like going on
Yeah.
adventures and stuff. And, the skydiving thing, it just didn't work out. And every time I feel like there's a chance to do it, we don't end up doing it, you know?
Definitely, if you go back, book it.
I definitely want to do skydiving.
It was the most euphoric feeling in the world, jumping out of a plane.
Did you do it over like the palm?
Yeah, so it's over.
Oh,
and that's
goodness.
why I have this thing about like a bucket list check off of doing certain things in certain countries. Like I was like, I'm not jumping out of a plane over a green field in England.
Right.
Like, no way.
You want to have that view.
It's like I want to go swimming with great whites in South Africa. Or I want to do like hang gliding in Brazil. Like there's certain countries.
Absolutely,
like
I agree.
Go bungee jumping in New Zealand. Like
the hot air balloons in Turkey.
Yes, exactly.
No, I agree. I'm the same way.
So I would recommend to anyone, like, it was the best feeling in the world. Like when I landed, I was like, I want to do it again.
How was it? Was it like, how would you describe skydiving? Is it similar to like roller coaster or more like bike?
It's the weirdest. So the first bit where you jump is the free fall. And everyone thinks it's going to be really scary, but it's like it's slow motion. Like, I don't know if you go swimming a lot or anything or go deep water, but you know when you're in deep pool and you rise up in the water, that's the only thing I can relate
like the gravity.
Yeah. And it was so...
Where you feel weightless?
Yeah, it was the most weird euphoric feeling of like dropping, and then when they let the parachute go and then you shoot up, it was just so...
Is it like a tug where you're kind of like, oh my God, this
when
is
that
over.
bit goes, and then it's like 50 seconds to the ground. So I think it's like 1 minute.
The whole ride up and down.
Yeah, but now if you asked me, I'd be like, I can't remember if it actually feels short or long. Like it's the most euphoric, like you said, the gravity thing, the falling, you don't know what's going on. You've just jumped out of a plane.
Do you feel like, did you scream when you jumped out?
I think I probably did. I can't remember. Like I feel like...
Because all I'm thinking
watch the
of,
video
like,
again.
when at least when I go on like roller coasters and I scream, I feel like it's more of like that lightness coming out.
I feel like
where
that's...
you have like a way of releasing, I guess, that feeling of like numbness or lightness. I don't know
the fear or whatever's coming out of you. It's like I feel like with roller coasters or rides at theme parks, it's like a force. Like it's you're going full speed, like as if you're in an F1 car or something. But jumping out of a plane, I just can't even, like I would do it again in a heartbeat. Like, but I'm very much a daredevil kind of adventurous spirit.
Same.
So, but I feel like people have a fear of jumping out of a plane, and I get it. But when you do it, you're not really thinking about that. Like it's the most, like it's 10 seconds that you're free falling and then the parachute goes up. So it's
10 seconds
of like free,
super fast.
Yeah,
but it's like
but it was also like slow motion at the same time.
So it wasn't fast to you.
No, it really
you think
feels
it was like a mental thing.
Yeah,
for
I
you?
do think it was a mental thing.
Like it was like, I want to go slow.
I feel
it, but it's really fast.
I feel like it was like an I did it moment. That I was like, I did this. And then I was just thinking, oh my God. And you see like obviously the palm and everything below you, but everything's going so quick at the same time. And the force of the air, because of the pressure, that's why I feel like you actually feel like you're going kind of slow, because the air is pressing against you.
Oh,
like
so
your skin goes and everything.
Yeah, so it's like force against each other.
Yeah, so you don't feel like you've jumped out of a plane. It's like the air catches you.
Oh,
it's kind of
like the air is catching you and you're pushing it back, but you're going down.
Yeah. And that's the only way until you do it, you probably won't understand what
I'm
I'm
over here like thinking how that feeling is.
I would say just to anyone who wants to jump, go. Like, I'm just a big believer in like life is short. Like you don't know your clock. You don't know what's ticking. And my biggest thing in life is to be able to say when I'm an 80-year-old woman, I did everything in my life I wanted to do.
Right.
And nothing stopped me, or I didn't do something because I didn't have a partner or I didn't have a friend to do something with. Like, you know how a lot of people like, I want to do this, I want to do that, but they won't go on their own.
Right.
Like, I have a thing about taking myself on dates, taking myself on holidays. If I want to do something, I'll do it because I don't have a partner, and I'm loving being single, but I'm not going to miss out on doing stuff. Right. Because I don't have someone to do it with. So, and I feel like a lot of people hold back in life. Like they don't want to do something because their friends flake or their friends book back out of a holiday or a concert or whatever it might be. I'm like, don't limit your life because like you just
based off of other people though.
Yeah.
Like if you want to do something, go do it and feel free to do it without having to have the support of someone else. Yes.
And don't get me wrong, some things in life are funner with friends, but I also say like don't let your health limit you. Like don't do stuff because you're overweight, or don't cut yourself out of photos because you hate your arms. Like people always say to me, how do I have so many photos when I was big? I'm like, I was in front of the camera, behind the camera, whatever you wanted, I was there. Because I'm like, I want memories. I want to be able to look back when I'm 80 and show my kids if I ever have any, like, this is me, this is my life. Because I always remember looking at my mom's photos when I was growing up and photo albums and things. And I'm like, it's so sad to me that people don't want to be in memories because of how they look. I'm like, I can see you whether you're in the photo or not. Like,
Right,
we can see you in real life.
Absolutely.
Embrace it, whatever size you are. Like I always say to people, it doesn't matter what your size is as long as you're healthy. And I know in society today, I used to be quite taboo to the women's health industry because they thought I'm encouraging women to lose weight. And we're in this era of love your body, love your rolls, love your cellulite, which I am about. But I'm saying fat does correlate to health.
Absolutely.
Fat around your arteries, your organs, everything. It does make a difference. There is scientific
healthy.
There is scientific fact.
Right.
And people can say, well, I feel great now. I'm like, that's cool. So did I. Never had a health problem in my life. But if I had have left myself at 280 pounds and got to 37 today, I may have diabetes. I may have heart problems. Who knows? Right. So no matter how big you are and how much you love yourself, that's okay. But just do what you can to be healthy as well. Because Absolutely. You don't know what your genetics or history or what you've inherited, that what you're going to be at 50. What is the weight going to cause when you're 60, when you're 70?
Long term.
And I don't get me wrong, I'm all about whatever size you are, whatever size women are in society, magazine covers, clothing. Embrace what you are, and if you're happy, be happy, but be healthy as well.
Agreed.
Because I think there's a bit of we've gone a bit wrong on the other side of embracing every shape and size. That's fine. But don't forget your health. And this is the only thing I hate about women and men's health industry, that we are ignoring how bad our health is getting from food, from life, from weight, from partying, stress, drugs, whatever you want to do in life. But don't forget where you could be when you're 60 and that. Like, take care of yourself now. Like, your body is a temple. I hate that saying, but it is.
It is.
It's the one home you will always have. Agreed. I've traveled 47 countries. I've still got my home. I don't care where I am in this world. As long as I have me, like, I'm going to be okay.
Amen to that. I'll second that. I'll second that. So for everyone that comes on the podcast, we play this game called Pick Your Poison.
Okay.
And it's a game of would you rather. So would you rather do this on this card or this card, so people can get to know you outside of socials and what you do for a living. I'm playing with you too.
Okay,
so
good.
You're not in a hot seat by yourself.
I like a game.
So we'll pick 6 cards each. I don't know which side is. Let's try from this side of the white cards.
Take 6?
Yes.
Do you have to look at them or not?
Yes.
I can choose?
Yeah. They're crazy. Very toxic. Okay, rules of the game is you have to answer. You can't remix, and you can give an explanation as to why you answered the way that you did, which you're going to want to because these cards are insane. Okay, I got my 6.
No, I don't think I'm just going to pick some random because I think I'm going to analyze them.
Do you want me to go first while you're searching?
Are we both going to answer your...
No, you're going to answer mine and I'm going to answer yours.
I feel like I should just... Oh.
They're all pretty crazy. How long did it take you to write your book?
It was probably like 2.5 years, but it was more the whole publishing side of it. Like, that was a big learning curve for me of how to actually get a book published. And everyone's like, how did you do it? I'm like, I Googled it.
Oh, wow.
I'm like,
Impressive.
if I want to know something in this world, I'm like, Google. Like, go on Google anything.
Yeah, you can literally Google, YouTube. Literally, I learned how to do my own makeup on YouTube.
That's it. How many have I got? 1, 2, 3. So it was probably more the, I'm just going to pick any. Let's just do them. It was more the actual publishing bit. Like, once I got a publisher, accepted a deal, it was going through the whole actually like cover art, getting everything made, getting it to a shelf. So that for me was probably the longest bit. But I could have stopped writing after I lost the weight. I decided to do another 2 years of the aftermath, the maintenance, how my life changed, how people treated me differently.
That's good.
That's a massive thing. Like, when you lose weight, you do notice society does treat you differently. And people are like,
oh, you sad that it has to be like that.
You don't look like you used to be a big girl. I'm like,
here's my thing though. It's like society has made us think that like pretty looks this way, or handsome looks this way,
Yeah.
but it's like, who was the person that wrote the handbook of how pretty looks or how handsome looks? Because everyone in the world has a preference of different things.
What you're attracted
Yes.
to is your own, like what you see and what you're attracted to, what I'm attracted to. That's our own preference.
Absolutely.
But the world, and I'm thankful the world has changed and being more open-minded. Like we were saying about bigger people being on magazine covers and clothing ads and things like that. I do love that aspect of it. But it's how society just like deems, or when we were younger, that it wasn't cool to have a fat girlfriend or to like, when we were like when I was little, it wasn't. I grew up being friends with the boys because I probably wasn't their preference then. Now it's a bit more open of men do like all shapes and sizes. But when I was, and this is why I think today it's very hard for me sometimes to explain to people why I have so many male friends. But I grew up being the boys' friends because I was the chubby girl in school. All my friends like were usually their girlfriends, and do you know what? I actually love it now because I grew up. I used to work on cars with the boys. I was into
more
sports.
of a respect thing, like they respect you.
And that is it. To this day, I have some of the most amazing friends that are males, and they are purely friends. And I know very much the difference of having a male friend versus a male interest.
Right.
And it's very hard for me to sometimes explain that to people because they just think, oh, if a girl has male friends, she must be sleeping with them.
Right.
And I'm like, no, honey, I don't have sex with every one of my friends.
Right.
But it's for me, I'm thankful for it because I have a very different perspective on men. But yeah, it's sad that in society, but I'm thankful it's changed as well.
Oh, 110% agree. Okay. First question. All right. Would you rather get caught with a terrorist training websites in your browsing history or lick an unwiped butthole?
Oh, I think the terrorist one. Listen, there's nothing wrong with licking buttholes, but that got to be clean. I'm going for the terrorist. Fine. You never know. I might need that information someday.
That is true. Especially with how the world's going on
I know.
today.
I need that. You never know. Just could come in handy one day. Can I ask you one?
Yes.
Is it? It's like.
So this card or that card. So you just read two separate cards.
Oh, right. Would you rather only be able to orgasm when you're alone or have porn audio softly playing from your pocket at all times?
I enjoy my spouse, so I'll pick the porn audio.
You pick the porn.
Yeah, like I don't think I would I enjoy playing with myself too, but I enjoy.
I was about to say that's my life at the moment. So.
I enjoy my spouse as well too, so I'd rather.
I like it.
The porn.
The
audio.
porn playing from your pocket. Why not?
Okay. Okay. Would you rather show up to every job interview smelling like marijuana or make a living scamming the elderly?
Oh, that's horrible. I think ethically I've got to say turn up smelling like marijuana. But that's the whole of California anyway.
Yeah,
California smells like
not even a thing.
No, it's
where
like everyone smells like marijuana anyway.
And it's legal, so it's
there we
why
go.
not?
I'll take that one. Just hope I get the job so I don't have to scam the elderly.
And go the other route.
Yeah. Would you rather die while being burned at the stake after living a full life,
Okay.
or watch a sex tape of your significant other and their most recent ex?
I would rather die at the stake while living. I lived a full,
full life, so you're gonna die.
I was going to die.
Painfully.
Yeah. Anyway, so
There you go.
at least I lived a full, happy life. I'm fine with
Just
that.
having a painful death. You're going to be dead anyway.
Right.
So it's fine.
Just make it quick. Would you rather have a corkscrew twisted into your belly button or be forced to say yes whenever anyone asks you to do something?
I think I'd be forced to say yes.
Forced to say yes?
Yeah, I'm just hoping they're all good things. Shit.
What if they ask you to kill someone? And then you're like, okay, yes. Or like jump off a bridge with no
Oh my
parachute.
god, I didn't think about this. The belly button thing just sounded so painful. I'm gonna die. I feel like I'm gonna. But I feel like I could die. I'm gonna die.
For the pain. The pain is real.
Okay. Attempt to break dance at your next work function, or give your grandmother a dildo for her birthday and write "Grandpa will always be with you" on the card.
You know what? I've had this question before too, and I think that the grandma one. My grandma is just She's a sweet little old lady, and she'll probably just hit me in the head with a dildo.
Dildo.
And be like, what are you thinking? But she'll be over it.
She'll be all right.
She'll be
There
fine.
we go. I like that game.
Oh,
I like
thank
that
you
game.
so much. So tell everybody where they can find you, what you have coming up, all that good stuff.
So my name on all my socials is Miss Carli Jay, and that is Carli as Carli, not with a Y. So Miss Carli Jay everywhere: YouTube, website, Instagram, TikTok. And for me at the moment, it's absorbing more of myself in the US, like learning about different things, learning about how I can expand here, taking on more clients, nutrition, wellness, health, life, business. I do a lot of like content branding, social media creation with a lot of like basketball stars, athletes, actors. So it's helping people with their own personal branding,
Right.
but with their health, with their life, with their business. So yeah.
And tying it all into one.
Yeah, I just want to make people better. Like, I feel like in this world today, we have so much potential, but a lot of people don't know what to do with it because this world is so new with social media, content. How do we work with brands? What do we do? And a lot of people have never worked in a corporate office job or understand sort of how some of these big businesses work. So I'm trying to tie in all my experience to be able to give that to the younger generation. You know, people in their early 20s who are so much talent, so much creativeness, but they don't know how to use it or what to do with it because no one's really shown them because it is so new. So if I can speed that process up for anyone, hit me up, DM me, message me.
Yes. I love that. And make sure you guys get her book. Absolutely. Half the size, but twice the life. And they can get it on Amazon.
Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, yeah, anywhere.
Anywhere.
Just Google it. Google.
And stay tuned to all things Miss Carli Jay. And that is it for Telli Talk.
Appreciate you guys.